So while we wait others to join, maybe Matti, Saif, maybe you can introduce yourselves so we know each other.
I can go first. Can people hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, great. Hey, so I'm Maddie. I'm a principal software engineer at AWS on the developer tools organization. So I've been working there for about 12 and a half years, and kind of interested to join the group and see what you're all up to in terms of interoperability.
Thanks. I think you already commented one of the only issue we have on GitHub repo. I've seen that standardized metadata. I think it was you, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so we will talk about that as well. And Saif, if you have like working earpiece, maybe you can also introduce yourself. Okay, I guess you are having some audio issues. So before we start, since you, Matti, and Saif, you are first-time participants, we have been having these meetings since, I think, February 2020. And this was the first time we ever took a break from our meetings because of summer vacations. And it was kind of nice opportunity because we had this Cdcon end of June. And, you know, it's been non-stop meetings for more than a year. We said we can perhaps take a summer break. So it's kind of the start of our meetings. This is the first meeting of the upcoming period. And it's kind of look back on what we have been doing and also think about what else we can start working on, given that we have new participants. Maybe you have, Matti, Saif, you may have ideas about what we can work on as well, in addition to what we have been working on. And then follow-up meetings, we can deep dive on those topics you may bring up and then start working on those topics, depending on the interest from other participants. As I said, this meeting normally have been happening every second week. And since this is the first meeting, the participation is a bit lower than usual. We normally got 10, 15 participants in all of our meetings, but over time it will pick up. People are probably still on holidays, like myself. So when September arrives, we should come back to normal participation. And the other thing I want to highlight is that the agenda or topics, they are open to anyone. So if Matti, if you have ideas for discussion, you can just go and update the agenda ahead of the meeting. And if you want to present something like what we are doing at AWS, for example, or what kind of service you have there, Matti, you can talk about those things. That is the other thing we have been doing in interoperability meetings. People come and talk about the projects they are working on, the initiatives they have in their companies, organizations, and so on, to share the knowledge and find trends or common challenges, so we can work on those things together collaboratively. And that is how we do the work. And in addition to that, we also work with other special interest groups and projects within CD Foundation and outside, such as Zul from Open Infrastructure Foundation. And if like certain topics get high interest, those topics could be worked under special interest groups that can be created, or work streams under this special interest group. So you can find like-minded individuals to focus on certain topics, such as events special interest group we had, which was approved beginning of this year. So that was the some summary of how we are working with the special interest group, which is probably same with other communities as well. So we can start with the first agenda item, so action item review. And these action items were from our last meeting before Cdcon, and the first action item was on me. Okay, so sorry, let me respond.
I can hear Fatih, so
Yeah, maybe he is having issues. Okay, he will join again. So the action items are from our meeting during June, and the first action item was about Cdcon, which was about rescheduling birds of a feather sessions so they don't overlap. I closed this action item, which wasn't possible to fix, and Cdcon is over, so there's no point keeping it open. And the other action item was on me and Steve to start the discussion around select areas topics as Github Discussions. And this was coming from our standardized metadata discussion, which Matthew, you already commented. And again, this topic we have been talking about since December 2020, and we have a topic coming up as well. So I close this item as well because we have a GitHub issue open on our repository. So another thing to highlight is that we have been using HackMD documents to work on topics. Like we had this events topic that was done on HackMD documents, and then we had this standardized metadata and policy topics. They were also worked on HackMD documents. Then we decided maybe we should give a try to GitHub issues. That's why our GitHub issues is kind of, it looks empty because all our work has been done in HackMD documents. And over time, we can move those things to GitHub issues and open up new issues for new topics. That's why if you were wondering if there's no activity under GitHub, that's the reason. So those were the action items. And the next topic, Kara, you want to take this one? The CDF Jenkins themed newsletter.
just a reminder announcement that the CDF is doing a Jenkins themed newsletter on paving the way for Jenkins interoperability in the cloud. Submissions are still open until August 20th, and please do submit. You know, they're all submit. Well, the articles will be on the CDF blog, and then a select few, depending on how many are submitted, will go into the CDF newsletter. So it should be a very good read. And also from the point of view of this SIG, I think we could also pull in some good talks and discussions into future SIG meetings.
So it is you who people should be reaching out, or
something funny happened with my volume. I can hear you, but it's very. Sorry, Fatih, can you repeat yourself?
Okay, my connection is bad. Is it you people should be reaching out to if they have ideas to contribute?
No. It's the regular submission process to the CDF.
Submission, okay. Do we have a link for that somewhere?
I think it's on the CDF website. I'll go find the link actually. It is the regular article submission link. But I will put it in the notes and in the chat.
Okay. Good. So please tell me if you can't hear my voice because I have really bad internet connection and I may, you know, just drop off randomly. So that was the second topic. And the third topic is recap of Cdcon. So I think the Cdcon was pretty awesome. Like there were like few thousand people who were registered, and there were really good sessions with really good participation. And specifically for the interoperability topics, I believe there were 2 or 3 talks on interoperability, focusing on different aspects. Like events SIG gave they had their talk, which is also related to interoperability. In addition to that, there was someone talking about CI/CD interoperability who is not part of our group, which we hope to see him with us. So it is good for others to talk about this topic as well, because it shows people think about this independently from what we are doing here. And in addition to regular talks, we also had Birds of a Feather session, and our audience was a bit shy Kara and myself had kind of, dialogue or interview type of session, and we got some questions from people and comments, and two of those comments were actually related to what we have been working on already. So metadata standardization and policy, which was good to see because it shows that the topics we have chosen was actually important for other people as well. In addition to that, there was an interesting question which I put on HackM document as well. Why do we need to put effort on interoperability? And Kara explained the difference between integration and interoperability, and we hope we were able to respond to the question satisfactorily. So anything you want to add, Kara, about the Cdcon and our both?
No, it was very enjoyable. Especially given that it was a virtual one. I think for birds of a feather, it is helpful to be maybe together and for a longer period of time, because it enables people to sort of open up. I think it's hard jumping on a call for an hour to have a really, it's hard for people to feel at ease and get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was
that was
still
enjoyable.
good. Like maybe, yeah, we had like 10, 15 people maybe taking part in the chat, at least, like typing their comments and questions. So it could have been better, but perhaps people may have had other sessions to join, because as I noted during action items, it was like conflicting with other boths and sessions. So people had to prioritize. And the good thing about Birds of a Feather is kind of a discussion, but bad thing is they are not recorded, if I'm not mistaken. So it is like, it is not possible to see the comments or discussion afterwards. So that is kind of a bit, downside of Birds of a Feather. So anyone else comments about Cdcon? Matthias, Matti, Saif, Jeremy, if you joined Cdcon, how was your day like, or days like?
Go ahead.
Are you addressing me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I actually did not attend Cdcon. I recently just found out a CD foundation, and I found out interoperability, and it was something that I'm very interested in. So this is like my first meeting. First, anything related to CD.
Okay, so CD, all the conference recordings are available on YouTube CDF channel. So let me put the link so you can go there and look for the, sessions,
Yeah,
the
I
ones
saw
that
these.
may be
Yeah,
interesting for you. Let me
definitely.
put the
Thank
link
you.
there.
Yeah, I saw these. I'll look into it in the future as well. I have
This is
plans
the
to do that.
playlist. Thanks, Saif. Anyone else?
I was just going to say that I did appreciate the Birds of a Feather session that I joined. So thanks for that.
You were there. Okay, good. So then we move to the next topic. Status of interoperability white paper. I think Matthias, you put this topic here, but unfortunately we don't have Tracy or Jacqueline with us, not Matthias. Paper.
Yeah, I was just reminded of it sometime that we wrote about it, but we didn't get anything out. So that was what happened with it.
Yeah, I can't even find the white paper Google Doc. Anyone has the link? I don't know where it is.
I think that I saw it in a Slack channel.
Oh, let me look at Slack. I have very bad internet connection. It's not opening. Paper. Okay, it is probably this one. So Matti, I don't know, Matti Safe, I don't know if you have seen this document.
I have not.
So I think, okay, I am putting link to HackMD document. So as well, Matthias, just give me a moment. My internet connection is really bad. I can't even type it. Let me put it in the chat if I can. Okay, so I think towards mid-2020, we started working on this white paper. And the idea with the white paper was to talk about what interoperability in CI/CD means and what are the key concerns, use cases, and challenges the organizations and communities have, what communities are doing to tackle those challenges, together with what organizations are doing to tackle those challenges. And when you look at the white paper, you will see we have some intro parts talking about like considerations, constraints, and concerns, followed up by some trends and some case studies like this. I think the really great part of this document was this case studies, because you can read the work, you can read about the work that is being done by different projects such as Tecton, Jenkins, Pinnacle, Zool, and so on, as well as what the organizations are doing, like Volvo and so on. So this white paper has been handed over to CDF creative team, but because of all these Cdcon preparations and so on, it somehow got some deprioritized. And we hope this work will start again, and the CDF creative team will start working on this white paper, and then it will be published coming months, I don't know when. And that was what Matthias wanted to know, like all of us, because we put quite some effort on this white paper. And next time Tracy joins, we can ask her about where we are with the white paper. And while we are waiting for that, Matti, say if you have comments or if you want to contribute to white paper, you can maybe add a comment on this document, and then we see where the CDF creative team is at. And if it is not too late, we can make your contributions part of the white paper as well.
Yeah, sure. I'll definitely look into it. I'm looking in right now, and I'm definitely looking into the case study part. I think that's the most interesting part. That's for me as a newcomer, because I can actually get to see who are using the ideas of interoperability and who is facing challenges that might like help and be a part of the white paper that we're working on. So that sounds really great. Thank you.
Thanks, Saif. So let me put the link here. Oh, I can't edit the document. Or yeah, I can edit. So as I noted, just whatever comments or contribution you have, you have the discussion here already, and I get notification when someone puts a comment on the document, and we'll make sure to get your contribution to the CDF team, creative team as well, if we are not too late.
So if I have any questions, I can just ask on Slack channel, right?
Yeah, you can do that as well. Just put a message on Slack channel, and everyone is on the Slack channel as well, including Tracy and Jacqueline. They may also point you to right place if we are late with contributions and so on.
It's okay. Thank you. I'll do that definitely.
Come. Okay, Matthias, unfortunately, we couldn't get an answer to you today, but we'll continue asking.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay. So the next topic is standardized metadata, and maybe I can open the actual document. It was HackMD. So this work, I think it was James, what was his surname, Kara? James, not Rawlings, but James Strachan. Yes, it was him who actually started this topic November 2020, December 2020. And that work originally was done here. And let me put this link as well. So Matti, I know you have shown interest in this topic. So some background information is here, some existing efforts and some input from Jenkins X and so on, followed up by some SPDX and so on. And then I think around April, the project manager of SPDX, Kate Stewart, joined our meeting, presenting what they are doing in SPDX community. And during her presentation, it was obvious to us that instead of us starting things from scratch, we can perhaps look at what SPDX community has been doing since 10 years or something ago, and try to find out overlaps and what is missing from CI/CD point of view. And we had a consensus within the group during April saying that, okay, we should do that and start looking to SPDX specification. And we identified the first topic to look at as the file information. And based on that, we actually created this GitHub issue, which, or discussion, yes, GitHub discussion. And this didn't get much attention because of all this, Cdcon and summer break, but we hope to keep pushing this. So thanks, Matti, for reviving the conversation, and we will continue working on this topic. And if you have more ideas, Saif, Matti, please don't hesitate to keep the conversation going on.
Sure, I look into this as well.
And the other thing, maybe Matthias, you can, I don't know if you want, but you can comment on from events perspective as well, because metadata is an important piece to events work you are doing in events, especially in this group. So maybe after a while, once we have some, more understanding on SPDX and come up with some kind of concrete topics to work on, maybe we can combine our efforts in both SIGs and work with SPDX.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds a good idea. But I can read through and comment on it also.
I noticed in the document about standardized metadata, there were a number of other standards that were also kind of under consideration for like as prior art, or maybe part of a kind of combined set of standards that might be useful to apply here. Is there any active investigation going on into those, or any discussion about what their role should be?
Not that I can say, because as I noted, we kind of start this from scratch, and then this existing efforts listed some of the existing efforts, and then our focus shifted to SPDX, given that it was submitted to ISO as to become a worldwide standard. But as you highlighted, if there are other things we should be looking into, we can perhaps highlight them under the discussion as well, saying that, okay, SPDX is great, but these things are also, ongoing. Maybe we can look at the differences, overlaps, and continue the conversation that way.
Okay.
Yeah, we only looked at SPDX. Yeah.
I briefly looked at some of the other ones, but I mean, would it be helpful to create sort of a GitHub discussion or something if there's something interesting about one of these that we should consider?
Most definitely. Yeah, please just go and create a new discussion under SIG Interoperability repository, and so we can focus on that you highlight separately. Yeah, that works too as well.
Just out of curiosity, was there one that is already standing out in your mind? Is there one in particular that you're looking into and interested in?
I need to read more about it, but it seemed like the in toto one had kind of a lot of, it seemed pretty comprehensive or kind of covered a lot of ground. But that was just based on a few minutes of looking at their documentation. So I want to go a little bit deeper into that one. But I just wanted to understand if we had already had some discussions about any of these, like and how they should relate to SPDX or other efforts. Sounds like it would be valuable to kind of spend some more time looking into them, and if there's anything to highlight, I would definitely share that on GitHub.
That's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, the interesting thing about this, if I can find it, supply chain. So in CDF, there was another special interest group, which is currently archived, SIG Security. Some of you may remember Kate, not Kate, from Microsoft. I've forgotten the name of the lady. She was actually chairing that SIG Security. And then they actually started working under this Consortium for Information and Software Quality, CISQ. And if I can find the participants, so these people are working on this topic, the software supply chain security, and in toto and SPDX representatives are also here. So maybe we can, if Matti, if you can start a discussion under GitHub, we can try to pull representatives from Intoto and SPDX and get the first-hand information from them if they are having some kind of cross collaboration between SPDX and Intoto. So that could give us some more information about, like, if they had, chance to work and see how they can combine their efforts, or if they're not thinking about that.
That sounds great.
Where was that? Yes, this one. So, Toto. See, Santiago Torres Arias, I think this is the principal developer for Intoto, if I am not mistaken, this person, because I watched some of his talks during KubeCon or some other conferences. So he is here, and Kate Stewart is from SPDX, and Kay Williams was the chair of SIG Security. So all the people are under this forum, but I don't know how, much progress this forum is having. Maybe all projects are, focused on what they are doing, and this initiative maybe just, have some common forum meeting once every month and so on. Just speculating here, by the way. But yeah, Matti, I think your idea is good. So if you do that, we can follow that up. And I see Tracy here as well. Welcome, Tracy.
Hello. So had a clash this half, but let me know what I've missed.
There was a question for you, but we can come back to that once we are done with this topic, this standardized metadata. So anything else about standardized metadata? Matti, can I action you about that? This is how we welcome people, we action people when they join first time.
Great. Yeah, please do.
And Fatih, can you put a link to that CISQ page you were on? In the...
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, that's our action item, CISQ. Tracy, do you know this CISQ, how much traction they are having there? Because like when you look at the participants, we have people from all over the place. Dan Lawrence is there, Kay Stewart, like Kay Williams, who was the chair of SIG Security.
No, I'm not familiar with that, but I can ask Dan. He's pretty good at giving me the realistic picture of whether it's just a capture of names or some regular progress happening.
Okay, because that's what Matty highlighted. Like his question was like, if we looked at other efforts in addition to SPDX, and we haven't, and that's why how we end up on this page, thinking that these people may be talking to each other. But yeah, if you can, find out if this is like just collection of people or if they are doing some producing some.
Yeah, I'll have a chat with
output.
Dan and report back.
Thanks, Tracy.
And I just said the other
before-
place.
Yeah.
I was just going to say quickly, the event we're involved with KubeCon, so one of the co-located events on software supply chain, looks like we're trying to bring a lot of those folks together in one place. So that might be an optimal place to have these discussions, or we'll see if it ends up in person or not. But regardless, either in person or virtual, I think we're going to try to get everybody together for that.
Let me put that here. If you haven't seen it, this is actually pretty cool, like this event. So thanks, Tracy, and others who is involved creating this event to focus on supply chain. Let me put it here.
Yeah, and we haven't got the full agenda yet. I think they've only announced the SolarWinds talk. But I know there'll be folks from InToto and SIG Store and yeah, some of the kind of usual suspects. So lots of the right folks in the room.
And this is a co-locate event which will happen first day of the week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. What happened to my connection? Yes. So October 11th. Okay. So before we continue with open discussion, Tracy, Matthias put the topic on the status of the interoperability white paper. So sorry for asking this again, but any updates?
Can you open it up? So we had we throw all the stuff at the creative team, and it ended up getting bumped for a lot of things around CDCon. I think it's good, like we can get it back in the queue. Having said that, I seem to recall, and this might just be me, that there were a couple of sections that we wanted to fill out before we did that. So let me just take a look and see if that is the case. If it's all ready, I can bump it to creative and they can put together a draft, and then we can go from there. But was there a section on Tecton or anything?
Jenkins X and Tecton is there, but I don't know if you mean specifically Tecton.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of sections I think we should either plan to fill in or just get rid of them, because like once the creative team have it, we like to reduce the iterations. So if we can go through all the iterations now, get to a good place with the doc, then kick it over to them, that would be good. So specifically, like there's a section on secrets and APIs. Are we filling those out? Or are we just ditching those?
Okay, I think secrets. Yeah, we can ping James to see if he had time to talk about this. Kara, I know, because we are also talking about secrets. You had a talk on secrets in GitOps Summit, I think, or if I remember correctly, maybe.
I can circle back with James and see where he's at and maybe work with him or write something myself. That is good. You're right, Tracy. We did have blanks in this paper. Okay.
Yeah, so I think either way, I'm fine if you want to take it out of scope, or if we can put something in, I think it makes it more meaty. And the APIs, I think the idea there was to do something like related to Tecton, or Tecton was the example. But yeah, I'm looking through and there's nothing specific on Tecton itself. I think that's a big part of the interoperability story. So let me circle back. Who will I talk to? Maybe Andrea on that one.
Also, Matti and Saif, they've seen this document first time. So if we can have 2 weeks, so Matti and Saif can perhaps look at, and if they have any contributions to make, they can do them as well.
Yeah, fresh eyes are always good. So feedback will be excellent.
Hi, I'm new here. Yeah, so I definitely look into the paper. I just saw these, and this is my first meeting, so I feel it would be great now listening to all of this. Like interoperability sounds really interesting. So I definitely go through the whole paper and see where I can contribute, and I definitely get in contact with Matthias if I have anything to add, or if we can collaborate on something. That would be pretty good as well. Nice to meet you, everyone. So have a nice day.
Yeah. Thanks for joining, Saif. And yeah, no, I think that will be perfect. The idea with this white paper is it gives people new some context and some of the high-level topics that we'll end up diving into deeper. So yeah, really appreciate any feedback you might have on it.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Safe. So that was white paper. Thanks, Tracy, for the update. And the last topic, if anyone doesn't have anything else to add. So what I want to, give some kind of heads up as the last topic is that I think all of you will remember, maybe except Matti, we had the roadmap for our special interest group, which we created maybe at the very beginning of the formation of special interest group. I don't know if Matti, have you seen that, or Saif? So I can put that link here as well. And since we are restarting our meetings again after summer break, maybe it could be a good opportunity for us to look at our roadmap, reflect on it, like what we achieved, what we failed to achieve, what else we can work on. And since we have like fresh eyes, as Tracy mentioned, maybe we can update our roadmap and talk about some new things we hope to start working on. So this is just a pointer to our roadmap and see where we are and what else we can work on. I will put the link to HackMD.
I have a quick question. So if I'm working on anything, should I make an issue on GitHub, or should I open up a discussion on Slack first? What should be my first approach to that?
I think what we decided during April was to start using GitHub Discussions. So it would be good to use GitHub Discussions because other groups in CDF is also using GitHub Discussions, especially events SIG. So we can link things on the GitHub as well if we see some related things. So if you have an idea, just open up a GitHub discussion or start a GitHub discussion. And if you don't get any, response participation, you can highlight that on Slack channel as well. So people, because not everyone is subscribed to the GitHub notification, so you can do that way, perhaps.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't know if others have other ideas, but yeah.
No, I was just wondering if there's a Slack integration for GitHub Discussions, a way to highlight at least new topics in the Slack channel automatically.
I do not know of so far. I know of issues, but I'll have to look
Yeah.
into it, integration for discussions as well.
Let me take a question here so we can
have a quick Google. Yeah.
But yeah, again, going back to roadmap, we had, and thanks to Trace, this was actually a great, way to work on the roadmap. And I think we achieved quite some. Like if we look at events, for example, it has become its own SIG. Events was one of the things we started working on, and the other things we were thinking of working on was like knowledge transfer, which we have been doing. Like I think we had like 15, 20 presentations from all around different projects, communities, organizations. So we could have done better, obviously, but given the situation with COVID and so on, this is what we have been able to do. So just go in there and see if this at all makes sense to you. If we missed any critical topic, just send a pull request here. We can take that conversation during one of our meetings or direct on GitHub and refresh our roadmap.
Yeah.
All right, we'll do that.
Yeah, I think doing a refresh is a good time. I will say for most communities, just the last few months have been all over the place. Just it's super hard for folks in COVID, but yeah, this group's made amazing steady progress, which has been really nice.
Okay, that was the last topic. Anyone wants to talk about anything? Any other topic we missed?
So one question related to KubeCon, and like we have the CDF booth, and I know Jackie's been looking for folks who want to take on some sessions at the booth or like meet the community. Is there have we seen anything from the interoperability group, or do we know if anyone's planning to be there?
I'll be at the booth virtually.
Okay.
Oh, is it possible to have virtual participation in the booth?
Yeah, I think they're trying to do a hybrid thing, which the details are light at the moment, but the expectation is there will be a virtual and an in-person booth, so you just declare which one you're going to be in.
Okay, and I remember seeing Jackie sent a mail to CDF mail list. Maybe I can put the link here. So I think I've seen a Google Sheet as well. You put up your name and so on.
It's actually like a book, you can book me link, and then it puts it in the CDF calendar. So if you go to the calendar, you'll already see the folks who have already signed up, and you'll see
okay.
So you can scope that out first and then go book a time, or ask us if you want to have a specific time where someone else is booked and we can chat to folks.
I had a quick question. So the CD Foundation, because where I come from, I'm actually from Pakistan, and we don't really have this culture of KubeCon or CDF, and it's something that I would like to have for communities here. So in that regard, is there any way that I can help promote these things or talk about more open source kind of stuff here? That's very interesting to me, and I think many people around me will be interested as well. So is there anything I can help in that regard?
Yes, absolutely. What kind of group, maybe if I just ask a few questions to try and point you at the best resources. Is it like at a company, to a community, or like to university? What's the kind of audience?
University. I'm a student right now.
Oh, perfect. And is it to folks who are completely new to open source or have some familiarity?
Completely new to open source in that regard, that they know how to use GitHub and stuff like that, but they don't have the interactions with communities or contributing to open source projects. They don't really have an idea of what that actually is.
Great. And are they familiar with any of our projects? Would you know if there's a specific interest in, let's say, something like Jenkins or Tecton?
I would say people are interested in projects like Jenkins, most likely towards DevOps or CI/CD kind of stuff, and a bit more on the side of what CNCF does, which is cloud stuff, which is like Golang and stuff like that. So that would be the primary interest of where I come from.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send you a couple of links, but either some things with Jenkins or the best practices group might be a good way for them to engage or check out those materials.
As well, you may want to speak to your cohort or your community about Google Summer of Code, where computer science students are chosen to spend the summer with a stipend working on an open source project. And the CDF is participating in Google Summer of Code this year as well. The CDF participated last year, so we should be doing it next year as well. And that is a really nice program for having more open source experience. And the application for GSOC tends to be somewhat competitive and early in the year. So this is actually a great time to speak to your friends, your colleagues, your community about GSOC and to have them start looking into open source projects they may be interested in and become engaged in those projects so that when the applications for next year's GSOC open, as they do the process begins early in the new year, they'll be ready to start engaging and hopefully we'll have a really interesting GSOC experience if it interests them.
To be honest, I'm actually looking forward to Google Summer of Code as well. I tried this year, but I could not make out a time for that. Is there any material that I can use? Because I do not know of anything else other than the website that Google Summer of Code has. So maybe some different presentations, your demonstration, or something like that, if that could be helpful.
Okay, on Slack, I'll ping you with our Google Summer of Code experience so far this year and some more information.
Thank you. That's great to hear.
Yeah, thank you for your interest.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, then. I think this was great. We start our meetings again. As usual, the final reminder, our next meeting will be on August 19th. So we meet every first and third Thursday of each month. So if you are subscribed to calendar, you should have that in your mailbox. If not, let me put the calendar as well. Sorry, CDF public calendar, if I can find it. Yes. So on this calendar, you can see all the meetings CDF community is having, all the SIG talk meetings and so on. If I can open this, please make sure to change the time zone of the calendar so you don't wake up in the middle of your night.
It's okay. It's actually around, it's almost 9 p.m. here where I live. So this time is not that bad for me.
Good. And we will change the meeting time when the this summer time and so on. But you will see all those announcements on SIG Interoperability mail list. If you haven't subscribed to mail list, please do that. And it would be good to subscribe to Talk and other SIG mail list as well, because conversations are happening on mail list too. So again, thanks all for joining today, and we will talk to each other again in 2 weeks. And until then, have a nice time and a nice weekend. Talk to you.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye all.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.